Hey guys.
So I'm sure most of you guys are aware of my disgust for sophists, and today I'm going to be debunking one of the biggest sophists known to mankind. Yes, you guessed it, this is Ask Yourself Debunked. So to just give you an idea of how cancerous of a person Ask Yourself aka Isaac really is, I'm going to play a short segment of Isaac on the Waking Up podcast of Sam Harris. Now, I want you to focus on the level of dishonest sophistry he is operating at, and of course, prepare to watch Sam Harris intellectually destroy Ask Yourself.
Welcome to the Waking Up podcast. This is Sam Harris. Today I'm going to be speaking with
Ask yourself.
I really think he is a child in a man's body. He is a malignantly selfish, ignorant, and petty person, and a tyrant in the making, insofar as our system could accommodate a tyrant. As I said on that other podcast, if you're supporting the guy because he'll, quote, shake things up, I think you're just playing a game of chicken with human history. But just to be clear, every meaningful sentence of our conversation has been preserved. And now, for better or worse, I give you
Ask yourself.
I've got Isaac on the line. Isaac, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey guys.
I expect this will be a difficult conversation. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to be difficult, but hopefully it will also be useful. But before we get into it, please tell our listeners a little about yourself and where you're from and what you're doing now.
I've been molesting children, committing rapes, stabbing people. I've been eating a lab-grown foreskin that has spikes on it because it demonstrates you're wrong.
Okay, strap in.
Sam, there is no trait absent in animals, which if absent in humans would cause us to reject our own right to non-exploitation. So until you can name the trait absent in animals, which if absent in humans would cause us to reject our right to non-exploitation, you are hypocritical to deny that right to animals.
It was just a non sequitur.
When you're having a debate, when you're having a discussion, you need to actually answer what is being said to you. Now, Socrates is a cat. All cats are purple, therefore Socrates is purple. Is that valid? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, is it sound?
But again, there
No,
variance on specific questions.
Shut the fuck up. No.
All right. I've given you several reasons to recognize that this charge that we're involved in a get-rich-quick scheme is false. And I can assure you that our listeners will recognize it to be false. And you're tenaciously holding to it past the point where its falsity is obvious to everyone makes you look like an asshole.
Not an argument.
This is a stupid little trick that you have to stop using because it makes you look terrible, all right? To falsely summarize what someone has conceded is not only annoying, it is effective only with stupid audiences, right? It's going to get you fucking nowhere.
Not an argument. Okay, someone's trying to rape your mom. The only way to stop them is to just concede.
You're so far from reality here, and you're so satisfied that you're in touch with it.
Give me a 1 if you think that he's not tracking what I'm saying right now.
Condescending stupidity isn't going to get you fucking nowhere. So just listen to me. Okay, well, let me tell you a dirty little secret about your friend, Vegan Gaines. He's a psychopath who was going through his life harming people, a serial killer who just hates people or gets sadistic pleasure out of their suffering, and he goes around, torturing and murdering kids, was beating people up in high school, and now he's just kind of graduated to more high-tech crime. He's killing thousands of people. He's keeping sex slaves. He's a monster.
Yeah, bravo, Sam. Great ethical reasoning there. Very wise. I'm going to remember that one next time I need to justify whatever the fuck atrocity I want. And it's actually disgusting. Get the fuck out of here. You have no idea about how to strategize. You have no idea about how to run an organization, and you have no idea about how to make social change.
It was just a non sequitur. And again, let me just educate you.
I'm not getting immediately derailed into meta ethics. No fucking chance, dude.
Okay, the pause you hear from me is I'm trying to figure out how to proceed here.
It's patently obvious Ask Yourself behaves in a way that shows no indication of a man that has any interest in having an honest conversation about logic. He is more concerned about talking over other people in an attempt to make up for his intellectual insecurities. This is a guy who you just cannot reason with. Now I know Sam has already debunked every point Ask Yourself made in that podcast. However, I'm going to put the final nail in the coffin here. Anyways, I think it's about time I debunk this sophist. The clip I'm about to show you is a JF livestream. Now JF has Isaac on his stream, and Isaac makes a complete fool of himself when he tries to explain mono and poly axiomatic positions. I'm just going to play the clip and give you my response.
And then there's one thing at the end we talked about. You mentioned polyaxiomatic systems. Oh yeah, then there's people who will have, you know, in your normative ethics, you'd be structuring either an axiom or a set of axioms. You'd be saying, you know, I consider good to be to be maximizing well-being, or reducing suffering, or maximizing rights, or maximizing virtue, or whatever it might be. And you could have either, you know, one thing that you have as your moral axiom, or you could have multiple. So you'd talk about a monoaxiomatic system or a polyaxiomatic system.
So Isaac states you can either have one thing as your axiom or multiple. Clearly this is a false dichotomy. This is analogous to someone saying you can either have one thing as your axiom or multiple. This is a basic fallacy that anyone who knows anything about basic logic would be able to debunk. So Isaac is talking about monoaxiomatic and polyaxiomatic positions. However, there's a third option here. I personally hold a monoaxiomatic position, which is a more consistent position. Now, I could get into pre-descriptive meta-poly-monoaxiomatic positions, but you need to have a high level of understanding of complex logic, which, let's be honest, 99.99% of the population do not have. So just let the experts like myself deal with complex logic like this.
And I think we've come up with this term monoaxiomatic autism, because the monoaxiomatic systems just lead to these like hilariously autistic conclusions. And
not an argument.
We'll get into that. And sorry to keep talking, but final point is just, I've stopped calling it consequentialism. I just call it utilitarianism, because people will make this distinction. It just gives room when you use the word consequentialism, because they can say like, well, everyone's concerned about the consequences. Even a deontologist is concerned about the consequences of rights being maximized.
Provide evidence.
So it's better to talk about utilitarianism. But
I am so happy that you tell us that, because
yeah, no one cares, you fat autistic pig. Next. Now, I would just like to point your attention to an interaction between Ask Yourself and Zychron. Now, Zychron is an academic intellectual that I have a lot of respect for. His ability of fallacy spotting is next to none. What makes Zychron so unique is the way he finesses logic onto morons like Ask Yourself. After watching this clip, you'll see how Zychron is just on a different level to Isaac. It's pretty embarrassing.
Hey Zychron, if I say Zychron has value and doesn't have value, and I'm holding every single thing other than that constant, is that a contradiction?
I would say that's a conclusion. That isn't an argument.
Now, the way Zychron answered Isaac's question here is actually very clever, because the statement Zychron does and doesn't have moral value is a contradiction, but there's nothing wrong with contradictions. Contradictions can be true. Dialetheism, which is the one true logic, states contradictions do exist, and I can show you truth tables to back this up. P and not P, therefore P and not P. This is true across the board.
Okay. So when you say that I have to explain that morality is based on a trait in order for me to show that
no, that moral value, you don't even understand the argument.
Okay, good for you there, Zychron.
Yeah, so obviously Zychron wrecks Isaac here, and Isaac tries to play it off as if it's nothing to save face. The rest of the video is just Zychron dick slapping Isaac with basic logic. I won't leave a link to this video, but I can assure you what I am saying is the truth. Now, if Ask Yourself wants to actually have a live debate, I must warn him, I am a logic machine. I eat logic for breakfast. I embody raw, unfiltered, organic logic. I will logically rip you limb for limb, using logic itself as my weapon. You have been warned. Anyways, I feel like I have thoroughly debunked Ask Yourself in a respectful and honest way. I think it's important to be honest. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends so they can learn basic logic. Until next time, cucks, keep well.